everybody. Welcome to Bitch Sesh. It's me, Danielle. Casey is not on, as we know, because she is celebrating her 40th this week, and she is out. As we all know, I am not there because I could not stay in the massage closet and I could not quarantine in a way that was acceptable to the group. But again, I just want to say happy birthday, Casey. I love you. And I hope you're look, 39 has been a tough year. Let's hope 40 is amazing. Or in the words of your great character, Penny Hart, amazing. And happy birthday. We love you. And we have a great guest, guys. We don't have Casey, but this is a Bitch Sesh fave. Everybody loves her. Everybody knows her. We got to bring out the big guns when Casey's not here. And she has not been on since the old Pandy. I think she was our last guest before Pandy. This is, as we know and love, fan favorite, Deanna Cheng.
Hello.
You were on, because I remember it was like 2 days. Yeah. We had just found out that Tom Hanks had gotten coronavirus.
It literally feels like 4 years ago.
It was, and also yesterday. And I remember because we were all in person recording. This is when we still had that option. And you tried to hug everybody, and everybody was like, "Don't touch me." I mean, not to laugh at this, but I remember you were taking it so personally. You were like, "Deanna, there is a virus going around. Like, I don't." And this is before we knew about masks or anything, but we were like, "Just don't touch me." And you were taking it so personal.
I couldn't handle it. I mean, I got myself together. Like, this was literally right before it went down. I must have you all understand. I have been in my PPE since, but I couldn't handle it. And I kept trying.
Every person that would come in, there was because we had a few guests that night, I believe. Yeah. And we had our editor was there and husbands and there were people coming in and out, and you tried to grab every single one. And everyone was like, "Deanna, don't make me have to say this to you." Again.
So
you kept going in for hugs. It was so upsetting.
And it was getting, I felt it in my body. It was I was becoming, it was out of my control. I was it was becoming bigger than what it was. I was
you needed it. Hug. You needed it more than ever. I don't ever remember you needing a hug that much, and you needed it so badly that night, and we could not. And you're a very dear friend of mine. I have such love in my heart. I consider you a dear friend.
As I do you.
And to have to say that continually, because you kept coming in. Yeah. It was just Deanna, no, don't touch me. Do you remember this? I've not touched you since. I haven't been in your presence.
Well, I haven't seen you. I haven't touched anyone. I want you all to understand.
Okay, because I'm afraid.
No, I went into deep hiding. I'm not out in the world. No, it's not behavior that I took. It just was really it really was the day that we all were starting to understand that tomorrow.
Yeah, literally the next day, my work call was "Don't come in." Right. Everyone was at the grocery store. There was a run on Twitter. It was the day before that. But we were all starting to, this is the day that we all started to understand that this was not going to go away. This was not small. This was an emergency. Everyone needed to, and so it was all starting to hit us, and you needed people at that moment, and people did not need you.
They wanted to get away.
So anyway, that's the last time we were in each other's
so funny.
And that you were on the podcast, I believe. Though you have come on and sang your beautiful, beautiful song about dick. Gotta get that dick, that New York dick song, which was a beautiful tribute.
Gotta get some dick.
How have you been?
I've been good,
let's pretend that everything is fine.
Yeah, pretty good. Healthy. God bless. Thank you, Jesus.
You got a dog during the quarantine.
I got my doggy Otto. That has been transformational. He, never thought in a million years I would have a dog. Never wanted a dog. Wanted nothing to do with dogs. Just gave the ones in my life the bare minimum of attention. And now I'm like, I do feel like I have dog trainer capabilities at this point.
Wow.
I'm not the best dog trainer, but like I have a sense of what to do now. I mean, and I'm in love, absolutely in love with Otto.
And you just had recently had experience before Otto where you got attacked.
You know what's so funny, Danielle? And I talked about it on your podcast. I did have someone reach out on the podcast on social media. A couple people were like, didn't you get attacked in Hate Dogs?
Yes.
And I did. And actually, I saw those little motherfuckers today. Okay.
How did it go down?
It didn't go great. It did not go well. And it was one dog that really, violently attacked me, but the other one was still on my body. And they're my neighbors. I'm in a condo community, and, so I've seen them. I've seen them mostly up on their balcony. They're not allowed to be behind. There's a dog run directly behind where I live. They're not allowed there. But today I was walking my dog in the morning, and the owner had those two little rats, and I wish he just went forward, but he wanted us to pass. And as we did, these rotten dogs really went after my puppy, my 8-month-old puppy.
And after you have been through what you've been through, they should just steer clear. Like, I think once you
just let me be.
Yeah.
I think he was trying to do that, but his dogs are aggressive. Like, period.
Did you say, haven't you had enough of me?
Didn't
you get your pound of flesh? Did you say that?
I kind of wanted to, and now you're riling up my dog. He spun around my legs. I stepped on my own dog. It was a disaster. And I'm like, I just don't want to ever see you anymore. So anyway, but it's been a great happy ending because I love my dog.
Yeah. Speaking of happy endings, I feel like this is a good transition to something that happened to me. I went to the OBGYN yesterday. I had my annual, and everyone's all masked up, and, they do it very safely. And, you got to do it. Even in these times, you got to have your nethers checked. And so I went, just regular, the regular stuff. She's checking my breasts check, and I'm getting my vag, done.
And can I ask, what do you present? Do you present full, or
I present who I am, Deanna?
Okay.
I have no shame in my game.
I just didn't know if there was any different presentation
Okay. I present who I am. And she has no judgment.
Understood.
Presented. I peacocked my full spread.
I understand.
It showed all my feathers.
Okay.
I know everyone on this podcast is tired of hearing about my vagina, but I got something else to tell you. So then, as she's done with the front and the down, she says to me,
"Oh God!"
Without skipping a beat, how do you feel if I check your rectum? And she's like, because people in their 40s are now getting sort of like, colorectal, problems earlier, whether it's, diseases, cancers, all sorts of things. So now and I was like, I'll tell you, I let her finger my butthole.
Danielle.
And it
wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad. It was a shock. I wasn't expecting it. When you think you know what you're getting when you get into the OBGYN at this point. I've been doing it for a million years. It was a new wrinkle.
Right.
And so
a bonus episode.
A bonus episode. Has that ever happened to, I'm just curious, other ladies out there, hitting 40, around your 40s, anyone else getting a finger in the butt? Are we doing this now?
I have had gynecologists over the last couple of years stick their finger in my butthole.
Really? This was my first one. Okay. So this is the thing. I mean, obviously I trust my OBGYN. She's amazing. And, but I wasn't sure if it was like, if this is the new style.
I mean, now, even now I'm questioning it. Have I? But I have, she had to, now I'm trying to remember I think she just wanted to see what was going on, like.
No, as we should. And these type of diseases and cancers are happening earlier in people. So I guess this is a PSA it's turning into. It was sort of a funny story, but now it's really turning into a PSA, which is get your butts checked. Get your buttholes checked. Not by Michael, and not by Michael Darby. No, Darby. Keep him off your butt. But ladies, get your buttholes in gear. Get them ready.
Say, hey, is this on the menu at the next gynecologist appointment? Say, listen, I hear butts are getting checked.
And as they should be. And guess what? I was clean as a whistle. She was clean as a whistle.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
Beautiful. She said, feels good. She said, feels good. Well, let's take a break. I'm so excited you're here and back and to be with you again and to not have you try and hug me. I think that's important.
This is there's a nice safety. I hope once this all lifts, you
hug you again?
Want to hug me again, yeah.
Time will tell.
We'll see.
Let's come back with our guests. Deanna, guys. I'm super excited about this guest. This guest is a friend of Casey's who she's been talking about and saying how talented she is for so long. And what a huge Housewives fan she was. And I just found out that she recapped the Housewives of Atlanta for Vulture. So I'm a super fan of this woman. She's so smart, so funny, such a bright light, even in the small time I've known her. I love her energy. She is a TV writer. She's an author. Has a memoir coming out next year. Holy shit. And she is the co-host of an upcoming podcast called I Saw What You Did. Please welcome another Danielle, which is probably the best thing I've ever heard. Danielle Henderson, please welcome to the podcast.
Guys. It's so great to be here. This is exciting. I'm very excited.
I'm very excited to have you. And this is the first other Danielle I believe we've had on the podcast. So welcome, Danielle.
I'm excited and honored then.
Triple D's!
Triple D's! We're Triple D's!
Triple D's! The three of us. Now, Danielle said to me the funniest sentence before she came on, and it wasn't me, Danielle, though I uttered many funny things. Imagine if I was saying that Danielle said.
It would be great if it was just all third person for the whole show. And there's not actually anyone else here. You just made up this other Danielle character.
But anyway, Danielle Henderson said the funniest thing to me. She's like, guys, I'm in a weird space. In the last day, have had both. I came from a mammogram and then went to see my orthodontist.
I mean, does anything sum up 2020 more?
And I was saying, yeah, that's what life is now. I was saying the same thing, when I get zits and wrinkles at the same time. It just seems unfair. Once you're at the mammogram stage, aren't we past going to the orthodontist? Shouldn't we get something for ourselves?
Well, and this is part of the thing is when the pandemic first hit in March, I looked around and everyone's like, oh, it'll be a couple of months. And I'm like, have you lived in America? What? Have you seen us? We're going to be doing this for 3 years minimum.
Oh my God.
So I'm like, put these braces on right now. Let's just fix the 18th century graveyard that is my mouth.
Oh God.
Because I'm not going to see anyone for 2 years.
That's so smart.
Now, that's my whole life now is going to the orthodontist.
That's so smart because I was so stupid. When I was a kid, I got orthodonture, tons, just anything you could get, I got. But the works. I said, give it all. And
the headgear.
I was 13. Okay. And I was like, but I'm okay. And I was living in South Florida. Okay. And I said, but I'm an actress. Okay. I said, but I'm an actress and I'm going to need, how can I perform with these braces on?
Yes. And a model.
And a model. Of
exactly.
Course. Came off. And I said, I'm going to need clear braces, please. Because no one can see, because in my performances in Hollywood, from Florida, from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, somehow I was getting to Hollywood at age 13. They can't be seen, and they obliged. So then I had this huge mouthful of clear braces. So instead of having a mouthful of metal, it just looked like I had yellow teeth that had apples in them. Anything you would eat would get caught in them. So it just looked like I had food stuck in my teeth constantly. And I had this big mouth and I was like, Hollywood, here I come. So ugly. I got not one audition, not one, because guess what? the casting directors weren't coming to Fort Lauderdale. They weren't coming to
Well,
Boca Raton.
How dare they? How dare they? And I went with the metal. That's the other
Smart.
thing. Like I didn't do Invisalign.
I'm
So
glad you did. It's a
I'm
smart.
like, let's get this like ripped into place as soon as possible. So now I have like that food thing that you're talking about, where I had pineapple last night, and it just looked like I had like strings coming out of like it was a horror show, just like strings of pineapple and everything I'm eating just pouring out of my face. It's
as
gross.
a braces wearer, you need to strain all your food, and that's just you need to put it through.
That's just how it is.
A
It's
vegetable
a lot of yogurt.
blender. Yeah, a lot of yogurt.
A lot of yogurt. So much yogurt. It's like those probiotics are coursing through me.
You're gonna have amazing poops. I'm very excited for you. Let's talk about your time as a recapper for Atlanta. That's huge.
Yeah.
How was that? Did you ever hear from any of the Atlanta ladies? Like, give me the scoop.
I never heard from anyone, and I'm kind of glad because like I don't want to. I like the purity of my ideas being unencumbered by what they might think of it, or that even knowing if they were reading. But I pitched the editor at Vulture. I was like, I just started freelancing. I actually I dropped out of my PhD program.
You were getting a master's in the housewives is what you were doing.
Exactly. I already had a master's degree in housewives, so I'm like, who needs this
PhD? For what were you going for?
I was doing a PhD in communications and media.
Wow.
And I thought I was going to teach.
You were head first in it by doing this. I love this.
Well, exactly. Like I looked around the room and I'm like, I don't want to talk to the same 6 people for the rest of my life. I want to talk to people who are like actually watching TV and movies and consuming culture and not just examining it. So I just started freelance writing, and I was living in Seattle at the time. Or actually this is when I was doing my my master's, I think is when I actually approached them. And I just written feminist Ryan Gosling.
I can't believe I didn't mention feminist Ryan Gosling.
It was ages ago.
But that was huge. How did I not? I'm so sorry for not mentioning that. And it's even on my paper, and I just got so excited.
No,
and instead I had to mention my braces. What the fuck?
It was ages ago, and I totally was the person who steered us into braces territory.
But still, that was a huge, I want to say, movement. So
it was fun.
That was huge.
But it became like a calling card. So when I wanted to start like freelance writing, I was just like, hey, I'm this idiot. And they're like, oh, cool.
So because I'm sure someone else is like me and missed some history.
How dare you?
What is, well, look, I know I can't be alone. So for everyone who hasn't enjoyed the feminist Ryan Gosling, what was it?
So it was basically, I was doing my theory homework because my master's degree is in gender studies. And I was doing all of this heavy duty theory, and it was just bumming me out. Like I felt like I hadn't laughed in weeks, and I just started this program. And so to make my own homework more fun, I would take a picture of Ryan Gosling's face and put "Hey Girl" over it, because that he read that something on MTV at one point where he was like reading out all these "Hey Girl" posts. So I wrote "Hey Girl," and then I would just put like dense feminist theory and like over his face. But like in a humorous way. Okay. So it kind of
that
took off.
Absolutely has come across my desk.
Yes, I knew it. I was like, Deanna, you're too in touch to not know this. Like you're too apart.
I didn't know, but now I know.
And it was so funny because I'm like, at the time, I'm like, I don't find him attractive. It's not like anything like that. It was just kind of like he was in the zeitgeist, and it just kind of made sense because you remember that time of life when Ryan Gosling was like saving women on the streets of New York and like walking around with a ukulele.
Simpler times, yes, I remember.
Simpler times. So he was kind of like in the public eye.
And it was also it was around the time of Sad Keanu.
Yeah.
Right? Like
Sad Keanu. Like, a little bit after, but yes.
Right? Like, but it was all in the zeitgeist of...
We were all very concerned for white male actors for a moment, and then never again. But yeah, it was fun to have a calling card, and, I kind of wrote to the editor at Vulture, and I was like, hey, you're recapping all the Housewives except for Atlanta, and it's the best franchise.
The best.
Like, I don't understand. And I know that, like, the shows are segregated, or at least they were at the time. Mm-hmm. But I'm like, your recap shouldn't be. So I actually just created my own recap, and I posted it to a private page on my website so he could, like, see what it would look like. And And I sent him the link and I'm like, I'd be ready to do this, ready to go. Here's my voice. Here's who I am. And he was like, cool. Yeah, let's do it. So I started recapping.
And what was your favorite sort of season to recap? What was the height of Atlanta for you when you were doing that, or in general for you?
I mean, I've been a Housewives viewer from the beginning, like first episode of OC.
Welcome to your family. You have discovered we are your family, because that's where we are.
I mean, and I'm at first episode of Orange County.
Yes. No, that's what I'm saying. Like, we go way back to like Vicky Gunvalson in the van. Like, these are the times to Joe, like, and Slade. Like,
Slade, can we? The prototype fuckboy Slade. Like, we are there. But yeah, so I've been a fan of these shows, and it was kind of like my release for a while. Like, they're my favorite comedies in the world. They're so funny to me and just interesting and weird. So I feel like those earlier seasons to me are always the best because they're so pure. Yeah. Right now, there's a little bit of like, too many people know they're on camera. They know they're being seen. But those first few seasons were like unbelievable. So you take like a season where Nene has her original nose and she and Kim are just like drinking wine in a car in the middle of the day.
When they got like dressed in the car for the event, like those were those two were a hoot in those days.
They were so funny together. And that's kind of like, those are the seasons I love so much. And so I think that my favorite Atlanta season is probably Cynthia's wedding season, because there was just so much shade and intrigue going on around Peter.
Yeah.
And when her mom and sister tried to hide her wedding license, I was like, this is golden. It's golden.
And then that dress she cascaded down in the staircase in, I'll never forget that dress.
Yeah.
You know, that dress is really actually important to me.
It's part of, it's like the beginning of the Cynthia Bailey empire.
Yes.
Like, she saw that herself in that dress and was just like, yes, I can be.
This is before the Bailey agency. This is before the Bailey wine bar. This is before Cargo. This is before all of the other, and this is before her second wedding, which we just heard about.
You know, exactly. I just found the relationship so fascinating. Yeah. Like, it's so rare to see a bad relationship up close. And ongoing, and like the two people involved are like, nope, everything's perfect, it's gonna work out, and literally everyone in the world is like, what are you doing?
It's exactly like what's happening. I mean, not to jump ahead, but with Giselle, like when your kids and your father, well, I mean, she didn't know her father didn't like him, but
But I bet she could sense this is the first time that he's said that. It was off camera, but I do believe she knows.
Right. She probably knew, because there was a history there. And her kids are very vocal about her life.
Her kids are so vocal and so low energy, and they are everything to me. Like, their low energy shade is my whole life.
I love any moment where one of her children are like, what are you wearing?
Yeah.
Like, just explain to me what's happening with the way you look right now.
Can I say, guys, this is how bad of a dresser I guess I am, in that I never knew that Giselle had a problem until Karen. I mean, I didn't recognize, like, some people, like Eileen from Beverly Hills, I was like, I recognize a problem when you see something, you got to say something. But with Giselle, maybe I was just blinded because she's so beautiful.
She's gorgeous.
That I was just sort of like, the face was giving me so much, I didn't need to worry about the rest of the package. And now I see it. You know, when you see something, you can't unsee it. And now I see it.
She always wears like the big earrings too, so she knows how to bring the attention up to her face. But you don't really pay attention to the rest.
But she has carried the tradition of terrible fashion sense into her house. It has dripped from her body into this new house she is designing. And now I'm really seeing it 360. You know what I mean? Like, I'm
completely. And it's also like just the insult of Karen Huger being the one to tell you, like, camo suit press conference Karen Huger is telling you that you have bad fashion sense.
I love Karen. Guys, I love Karen and I love her fashion. I'm not saying it's right for me, but it's right for her. Where Giselle is lacking is the fashion isn't right for Giselle. you know,
but it's not within the whole like pinned down, locked up ethos.
Yes, whereas Karen is doing exactly right by Karen.
And what she's doing with her fashion, what I love about Karen is that especially the wigs, there's so many women in this franchise that are somehow involved in hair that I cannot believe her wigs remain so terrible. But from the top to the bottom, she's just completely telegraphing, I am a chaos demon. Like, I will come in and fuck your life up. And I appreciate that. I appreciate a look that says, I am chaos personified.
Well, it's nice to know what you got, like, coming at you, you know, without a word being said. It's nice to know when danger approaches to recognize it. Like, as we are animals, we have these, you know, it's like, oh, I'm going to camouflage myself now or whatever I need to do. That's what we can do when we see danger coming. And I appreciate that. You know, we didn't talk about this last week. And again, I know we're sort of jumping ahead to Potomac, but that's all we sort of have to talk about in terms of shows right now. But last week, I regret not getting into the homecoming episode a little bit more. I think we just had, I don't know, we just got like boggled or something. We just were all over the place. But I loved Karen going home for homecoming. I loved it. I loved how famous she was. I loved her family. I loved the parade. I loved how happy she looked. It was,
I know. She needed that, right? Like, I feel like she needed that win coming off of like, you know, the last season where her parents had died and
Ray told her he didn't love her just the week earlier.
Exactly. Like, what? Like, she's like, oh, we're going to get divorced maybe. Oh, no, that was ages ago. No, it was like now. And I don't know. I just feel like it just filled my heart to see a different side of her.
Yeah, I love that. I
love her just being like the true grande dame that she purports herself to be. Like, mostly we don't see that a lot. We see a lot of the screeching and the, you know, the talking over people. And I kind of like seeing
she never breaks a sweat, Karen. Never breaks a sweat. Even when that weird mime came, like, never breaks a goddamn sweat. And I respect
and this is what is like beautiful and infuriating about her is that she will talk her way out of everything because she just doesn't stop.
Yeah.
I know you've picked up on this before because you mentioned it on the show, but like the way that she just kind of powers through like a motorboat through any conversation, it almost doesn't matter if she's right or wrong because you just want her to shut up.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Beautiful technique.
It is. I've never tried it myself. I talk a lot. I have nothing to say. And if someone starts talking, I will power down like a computer. I'm just like, okay.
Like, I have nothing to report here.
One last thing about Atlanta, though, just because you're an expert, and I wanted to say that my favorite season, and I'm curious your thoughts on this, was when we first met Miss Phaedra Parks.
I mean, rest in peace, doing the sign of the cross right now. Everything about it. And I think when we first met her, it was that season where her math was so off because she was trying to conceal that she got pregnant before, like, pregnant out of wedlock.
That math was the best.
And it was also the pickle shoot. Remember we watched like the weird photo shoot with the pickles? Like that was.
And we had the Bougetto shower, you know, with the ballerinas.
Yes, and Dwight walking her like in sort of a prance, like cotillion dance. Like it was
the promenade of Phaedra. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just
beautiful, beautiful memories.
And we're walking down memory lane, and that was such a beautiful time in our lives. You know?
And this is, she gives me, I get the same energy from Candiace in a few different ways. But she gives me that, like, you know, uptight, like country club living, but like truly a mess kind of person. And that first season of Phaedra was just a dream come true. She was a lawyer. She's like a bounty hunter. She did everything.
Director.
I mean, she did it all and was like a super mom eventually, and like the whole Apollo thing, like getting married. I mean, it's all so much. It's so much.
Someone snapped a pic the other night and sent it to me, where I believe there was a gathering of Apollo, Peter, and I want to say Todd and Candy, or at least Todd, like the greats were all a meeting of the minds. And I'm like, this crew got together. Interesting. So someone snapped up a photo.
That is a Mount Rushmore of housewives' husbands. If you throw Mario in there, or Maurizio in there, it's like, that's all you need to complete the picture.
Yeah.
And Candy and Todd, I feel like they are the type of people who would stay in contact enough because they appreciate the like ongoing mess of the lives that they've touched.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is fascinating. I want to know what happened, and I bet none of them were wearing masks. I guarantee none of them were wearing masks.
I can't remember. Someone sent me a pic, but I don't remember if they were masked, sadly. Before we get to Potomac, one more thing crossed my desk, and as soon as it crossed my desk, it came back around, and I was told right. But I had heard from my dear friend Akila, who sent dear friend of the podcast, Akila, who sent us a TMZ article that that not only was Tori Spelling supposedly joining Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, but also Candy Spelling, and then also Kathy Hilton. Now,
okay, I'm looking this up right now.
But
what?
And so I posted it, of course, without checking. I never check facts. I just, I never do. And on this podcast, we never do. It's beneath me to source any of our facts. Yeah. We never do, and we never apologize for it. And so I'll continue that tradition. But I was told then by our lovely other friend, another good friend of the podcast, Greg Bennett, that this was in fact wrong.
Damn.
And that
none of them?
Someone said, like, I can't get to the bottom if maybe Kathy is going to be like a friend of. And I wasn't that excited about Tori. I'm not interested in Tori alone. Tori and Dean give me anxiety together. With their bed and breakfasts and their financial, I mean, all of our housewives have financial problems, but the Benihana incident, the burning, and that's a great housewife storyline. I would have followed from day one. Yes. But the Candy Spelling and Tori of it all interested me. That
would have been much better.
Right?
Yeah, that is a fascinating, because they have decades long drama from one of the most powerful and rich families. And it's fascinating to think that this is played out almost entirely in public with them.
Yeah.
So I would have loved to have seen that combo.
Yeah, wouldn't you? And so, again, I don't think it is happening, but I do think it's something to consider. I don't want Tori without Candy, though. No, exactly. If I can't get Candy, I don't want Tori. I just want that to be me.
On a pillowcase. Stitch it on a pillowcase.
Anyone wants to have that. This girl wants Candy.
So it's all a rumor, like neither one of them?
Unclear.
Or is it possible?
Anything's possible in the Housewives world. I say clear the decks, except for Garcelle and Dorit. I don't need anybody but those two ladies in Beverly Hills, honestly, right now. And bring in some new blood.
No, well, this is my feeling overall, because I fell off of, I kind of quit Housewives cold turkey for a while.
How?
I know. I just stopped and picked up a book and it kept going.
I just got a cold sweat and I didn't like it.
I know it did. It did not feel good. It did not feel good. But I reached a point. This is just,
you can't just
a couple years ago.
Quit.
Well, I did though. I did. It's possible. And I was like, I'm just not watching anymore. And for me, this is why I'm really excited that you're not recapping OC this season, because OC was kind of nail in the coffin for me.
Yeah.
I just kind of feel like I want to banish OC as a city. So like in real life,
like we could just put a little,
like a Simpsons bubble over it.
I hear that.
So I just kind of I reached a point where I was watching, the Kelly and and it wasn't fun anymore.
I get that.
So I just stopped, and I just kind of fell off the radar for a while. But then I picked back up, and I started. So I'm still playing catch up with some of the seasons, but I started watching Beverly Hills from the beginning a couple of months ago.
How was that?
And I'm through season 6 right now. And it is I kind of feel like, the sloughing off of characters and the sloughing off of cast members usually makes me sad. Like when Charisse got demoted to a friend of, it made me sad, even though she was there all the time. But some of these casts just really need an overhaul. And I think that they're not willing to do it in a really big way, and kind of the replacing the one at a time works as long as the cast is still working. But I think Beverly Hills is one of those franchises that just needs a full overhaul.
I agree. We don't need Kyle. We don't need Erica. They have served their purposes and they can go out like a flame, and that's okay.
Exactly. And Erica's got her own shit. She's got her own stuff going on from top to bottom. She'll be fine. Mm-hmm. Kyle, I just feel like we've seen every part of you. We've seen everything.
Tip to tails. Yes.
And even going back and rewatching, because that was like, when the pandemic hit, I'm like, I don't want to die and not be caught up on Housewives.
Wow.
I mean, that's the depths of who I am.
I hear that, though. I get that. I want to know everything before I pass.
I want to know it all. And so going back and watching, I'm like, oh, God, Kyle has been a nightmare from the beginning. She's really been so ineffectual to me. And I felt bad for her this time watching it, kind of knowing what was coming and like knowing a lot of what was going to be happening in her life. But Kim Richards is also a nightmare person. Like, yes, she has issues with drugs and alcohol, but if you really look at some, like that Amsterdam season,
oh wow, she's
a fucking monster. Mm-hmm. Like in her regular sober self, she's a monster. Wow. So I just feel like when you see these, I don't know, I feel like there's some seasons that show themselves to be like, this is the reason why we need to jump off this ship and kind of shake things up a little bit. And their family drama to me got way too much. Mm-hmm. So I'm glad that Kim eventually left. But I think Kyle should go too. I think let's revamp all of it. Vanderpump, same thing.
Yeah.
Like I rewatched Vanderpump from the beginning, in March. And that was more of like, I was just kind of trying to check in and see like, because I never stopped watching Vanderpump.
Ooh, you stuck with it? Because Casey and I on this podcast, everyone was telling us to watch Vanderpump, and we were like, and so we watched like 3 seasons in 2 weeks, and it was for some reason it made me so angry. And we've said this a million times on the podcast, but Cara Brown said to us, don't look at it in a way to like them. Look at it as a way to hate them. And then that changed everything, and I started loving it. But last season was, it
was so bad. It was a bad season. And bad. Especially, again, it's that the turn for me is usually when people start to know that they're famous and like believe their own hype.
Yeah.
That's when I'm like, I got to get out of here. Like, you guys, you're not fun anymore. So I love that they're like, yeah, let's fire Kristen and Stassi for their racist shit they're saying. People are boycotting OC because of Kelly Dodd. Like, let's get rid of these horrible characters and start bringing in people who actually contribute to the ethos of what this show is, which is like fun, absurd, rich people screaming at each other and like dousing each other with sage and like being absurd. That's what we need right now. We need absurdity.
I love absurdity.
Is there anything better than watching a woman put on an empowerment event for women only to invite women that she wants to scream at for being too empowered?
Now, which woman is this? Because this could go in many cities. Nene is who I'm thinking about.
This is every.
But we've seen a version of this in many towns. We have seen
like Nene for sure. We've seen this with Nene. She loves to throw a women's empowerment brunch and then just shout at everyone who like speaks up,
which I love.
Beautiful. But Robyn, even I think was it season 3 or 4 where she threw her She Is Empowered event.
Yes.
And was just so mad because it was conflicting with Monique's event.
And like Leanne Lockett. Like we've seen a lot of these. And so I appreciate them. Should we take a quick break and then come back and talk Potomac?
Completely.
All right. We're back with Potomac. Guys, I love this show. Thank God we have Potomac because I look forward to it. Like I know I've said this a few times, but like I watch it at the time of Potomac. Like I'm on it. Like the DVR is set, but I'm having to watch commercials.
I feel like I came to it late.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm here now.
Yeah.
I'm here.
Welcome.
And I think thank you. And I think I've watched, I used to catch it here, catch it there. If I was coming on your show, I would, power watch a bunch. But damn if it isn't in the number 1 spot right now. It is classic Housewives.
I want to know more about your journey to Potomac because it is, again, it's like the best franchises to me are Atlanta and Potomac. And it just, maybe I'm biased because I'm Black, but I just think that they're bringing it all the time.
I've always been with Atlanta. Potomac, is it fair to say it started slow, or is that not fair?
I watched the first season, did not watch the second season because and then came back around for the third. So you're not like, but I think I missed something because in the second season when I was like, I didn't watch, I dropped Dallas and Potomac for a bit. And then people were like, you don't have to take up Dallas, but you do have to take up Potomac. And so then we went back and I was like, oh, this is the best show ever.
Yeah, I agree. I think it started out slow for sure. And it was really, and it's also like, where is Potomac? Like, not to be that person, but like, sometimes they give you a city that you're like, I don't know enough about this to care. And like, it's kind of like when they gave us Washington and you're like, I don't want to see any of this. Like, this is not exciting to me. So
I'm the one person that liked DC, PS.
And that you better cut them out of I hope you cut them out of your life immediately.
No, I was like, give me more Michelle Salahi every day of the week.
She's a star. She is a star. You don't get a Michelle Salahi every day.
Oh gosh, that was a golden time. That time will never happen again. People are too vigilant. They're too vigilant. And I agree with you about Dallas. Like, I think the best of Leanne was the whisper session that you are so fond of and so perfect, Danielle. You better do some of it right now.
I'll do it because that's all I have going on in my life. He got his dick sucked at the roundup. I know the boys who did it. Like, she's the worst.
Why were you so ready with that, Danielle?
Because I say it to myself at night as I go to sleep.
Oh my God.
I whisper it to myself.
Oh gosh. I mean, we're never going to need anything else from Dallas beyond that season. That season was top to bottom mess and it was beautiful. And that particular scene, I was like, I don't need to watch this anymore. I'm good.
Loved it.
I'm good.
So where are you on Potomac right now? Like, where are you guys feeling? Danielle?
I am feeling extraordinarily sick of Miss Candiace.
Okay.
Her antics have, I think, gone. It's a bit much. Mm-hmm. It's a bit much with her. But I don't know. I'm interested in the Giselle and Jamal of it because just I'm divorced and I cannot imagine getting back together with someone that I had kids with and had like such strife with. And that my family doesn't like. I mean, it's just, that to me is an interesting dynamic because, like you said before, seeing older women or any women going through this kind of struggle and strife an emotional strife is interesting to me.
Yes.
So I'm kind of like, I'm feeling that a lot. Ashley and Michael, I'm just.
His therapy session was so painful to watch because I have no empathy or sympathy for this man. Like, I don't feel for him. I'm sure he had a tough childhood. He is too old to be using that as an excuse. I'm not saying he can't feel it or deal with it. I'm just saying that's not the excuse for your behavior right now. You are using it as an excuse and a crutch, but you know better at this point that
you're a father many times over by this point. Like, this is like. Once you've had children, you better get your shit together eventually. Like, before that kid hits high school, get your shit together.
I know. It is true. We always hear, like, for people that have, like, marry an older man who, like, they then have children with, they're like, and you hear them say, like, I'm a much better father this time. And you're like, well, fuck you, because you should have been good. Like, your poor, spouse the last time you did it. It's like, fuck you, and those kids suffer because of you. But, like, at least at some point you learned, like, this is a man that has not learned a thing.
At all. Because, like, even with Chris, like, the way that Chris talks about, his relationship with his kids and, his baby mamas across the board. And, he at least shows enough remorse about being an absent dad that you can kind of feel for him in a way. Mm-hmm. But with Michael, I'm like, he's just always gave me such a predatory vibe to begin with. Like, he is.
Was it the pinching of bottoms?
It was all of the bottom pinching, just like that, like, delightful English or Australian scamp. Like, so I'm just grabbing butts. It's no big deal.
So
also,
weird.
Like, not only did he choose a younger woman, he chose a younger woman to marry who has her own set of, like, real hardcore parenting issues. Yeah. And she had a lot of emotional stuff to kind of fix. And it was kind of nice to see her be on that journey with her mom and, through all of that. But it's like you're picking people to be part of your life who don't expect or allow you growth. And so when you're in therapy, kind of, boo-hooing it, it's like, well, if no one else in your life was going to push you to this point, you should have gotten there yourself a little bit sooner.
My take on that therapy session was like, if I had to watch Michael, because the setup basically was like, okay, I feel very alone, and when that happens, I do something bad, like go to a girl's hotel room and sleep with her. And I need you to know when the moment is that I'm going to crack and intervene. There's nothing like you and your melanoma riddled skin. I do not fucking want to. Like, I'm sorry. Wear a higher SPF and like don't. You know what I mean? Like, I can't.
I love a moment where Michael just shows up with a Band-Aid on his face.
Yeah.
I mean, I see a lot of things
He needs to be wearing a hat. He needs to be wearing SPF. He needs
to be wearing the long sleeves that block the sun.
Yes.
Like, please don't make me wait for that one fucking sliver of a moment when your dick is going to be outside the house. I don't have the strength.
There's nothing about Ashley that indicates she would ever be able to have that kind of like preternatural forethought about anyone else. Like, what about this woman to you indicates that she'd be able to do that? And is that fair at all?
It's not. And no, thank you. Pass. Hardest pass ever.
Now, this is the moment that made me the most uncomfortable in the entire scene. And there were a lot of uncomfortable moments at the therapy office, but them hugging their therapist. I have never come within feet of my therapist. Are we hugging our therapist? What are we doing now?
Oh, absolutely not. I mean, the best thing about this pandemic for me, and I love my therapist, is that I, within 1 week, was like, oh, we don't even need to do video anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even need to see you. Like, this is beautiful. If I brushed past her in the hallway once. Like, I was like, oh, I'm going to get some water from your cooler. And I brushed past her, and it felt like, I don't know, like I opened a portal or something. Like, it just felt too weird. Like, hugging is way too intimate for a therapist. But this is also like a theme on this show where like, I like Dr. Ken, I like Giselle's therapist, but Candiace's mom.
She's the worst.
Mom, can you imagine her as a therapist?
No. She hit her daughter with a purse. No.
Thank you. Like, why are all these bad therapists descending, or at least I should say therapists with no boundaries, part of this Potomac world? Like, what is happening in that part of the world? Get some boundaries.
Can we talk about Candiace for a moment? Because I had a sort of come to Jesus moment. And as a Jew, we don't have them often, but they did come. He was carrying me during this point of the episode. I didn't see the footsteps in the sand. He was carrying me. Just one set of footprints during this part of the episode. He was carrying me through it, and I appreciated it. Was that the reason Candiace, I believe, is suing Monique is twofold.
I'm listening.
Is twofold.
Go ahead.
One, because Monique didn't apologize. And that's on Monique.
Correct.
Monique should have apologized. But the second, I think, more prominent reason is because her mother suggested it.
Correct.
And she wants to make her mother happy. And you see, like, she took her mother's idea and now her mother's calling her, how you feeling, honey? Like, how are you doing, sweetheart? Like, giving her the mothering she so desperately needs and wants. This is a girl who is so desperate for her mother's love, which I totally understand and get. I come from a very similar background. And she is willing to try and put Monique in jail to get this love. That is that's Jesus carrying me. This is not my thoughts. These are Jesus' thoughts.
No,
Jesus is on it.
Jesus might have me with you, and that's still just the one set, because I think he has me in the right and you in the left. Danielle, I don't know if
he's a strong man.
I'm piggybacking Jesus right now. He's carrying me like a little.
He's still with the one set.
One set. He's got us all, and he's got big old muscles.
I think that's astute. I think that the fact that it took Monique, first of all, just a word to myself, like, if you get into a physical altercation, snap out of it quicker. Like, there were days gone by, she's like, I'm still feeling hot.
And that is, Monique has been bringing that energy from the beginning. She's like, I will go to 100. I'm like, oh, you go past 100 and into the thousands, and you live there. You set up a camp.
Like, if this had actually gone sideways, her not being able to scale down from 100 would have landed her ass in jail. Like, get down quicker.
Yeah.
So much. And also, like, develop the tools now, because we've seen this before. She almost choked Robyn out with an umbrella.
I remember well.
On the street. Like, you're really putting yourself in like abject danger every time you go to 100.
This isn't the first we've seen. I mean, this was the worst we've seen, but it isn't the first we've seen.
But I think you are completely spot on about Candiace. Her relationship with her mother is so toxic. And I'm a person who, I didn't speak to my mother for 20 years. Like, we just recently started talking again.
Mm-hmm.
And that's because I wrote a book about her.
That'll do it. That'll do it.
She's like, I'm so interested in your book. And I'm like, I bet you are, bitch.
She is. She's going to want a pre-signed copy.
Can I read it now? But she is what's so weird to me about Candiace is that she is her mother's daughter. So she has the same judgmental disposition. She ratchets herself up. I think that there was one season, where her mother, she admitted that her mother, diagnosed her as bipolar, like, across the kitchen table. And I'm like, oh no, that's your mom. Like, they both have, to me, there's some mental issues happening there. But that desire to be so close to and to get that mothering from her in any way possible that her mother is not capable of giving, a lawsuit is the natural culmination of what happens when you don't have the mothering that you need. It's like any little thing. Like, so Candiace always has to, like, level up to this psychotic space in order to meet her mom anywhere.
And it does give me empathy for her, I think, because, again, dealing with issues that aren't unsimilar sometimes. And so I do have empathy for that. But I also say, like, maybe you do need a therapist that's not your mother. And she has that therapist, but he didn't call her. I wanted him to call her on, like, when he was like, do you think you had any involvement? And she's like, no, can't think of one. Thinking. And I was just like, that's not true. And I do feel like it's the therapist's job to go, well, let's backtrack and see what happened there and see if you had any, like, someone needed to call it out.
Let's stop with the, like, the hugging and get to the deeper issue here, which is really, there are some deep issues there. And I think that it's, I also wanted that therapist to be, I always want the therapist to be a little more hands-on, but I think the therapists are always still
the ones that'll go on reality TV probably are not the best therapists we're dealing with. Let's just be honest. If we remember from New York, Dorinda's sort of like therapist / nutritionist / chiropractor. If everybody remembers that, like, we're not dealing with
acupuncturist. I mean, I love that. That New York really does give you everything.
Yes,
New York really does, like, pack it all in. But yeah, I don't know. I just feel really unsettled by the escalation that's happening with Potomac this season.
Mm-hmm. But can I? Okay, so I do too, and it's really challenging to see how we've escalated. But then I go back and I question myself in terms of my feelings on women and the assault, because I felt like I go back to what happened with the producer and Michael, and the producer got his butt grabbed, right? Is that the biggest thing in the world? It's assault. Yes, I get it. But is it like when in your brain, you go like, is that bad? But that male producer immediately did what he had to do based on the law. So that is where I do get, like, are we too wrapped up in Monique as a mother and a cool person and a bird owner? Like, do we?
All three things are true. All of these things are true.
Is that coloring why we don't feel charges should be pressed.
I think the only reason charges should be pressed are because of the bird. Like that's a reason to press charges. When someone has a bird, something's not right, I think.
Right.
So that's
we're all back on Jesus right now.
Yeah. He's carrying us again. He's carrying
Let's climb back on Jesus.
I got the back now. I got the back seat, guys. I'm right.
I've got a thigh, and honestly, it's great. It's great. I'm straddling a thigh. I don't mind it.
I agree, though. Like, it's interesting because I think that is also a card that she plays very often. Like I'm this person. So like, it's kind of that smoke and mirrors with Monique. Like, don't pay attention to all the ratchety shit I'm doing over here because I'm a mom.
Well, it's like when she picked up, it's like when she picked up Ashley's baby during that thing. That was so, that made me cringy because it's like, oh, no. We all see what you're doing here. You're giving us this image of the poor mother who would never do anything wrong. She's a mother. So I agree. I agree.
Completely. And I think that's right, that and it's also interesting to me because these kinds of things are often brushed under the rug as inconsequential or not that bad, or it's not that bad of an assault, so I think she should be 100% sued. I do.
It
think
was a bad assault too, and it went on. Like, that is a long time to have your scalp pulled and someone punching you from underneath. Like, that was a bad assault. Like, that wasn't.
New Jersey, when Ashley ripped out Danielle's scalps.
That was
that was not even as bad as this, and Danielle was ready to take them all to court for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
So she just lost like one track and she was ready to.
I just get, and you're right. I just get nervous when we start to get the law involved. I don't know. Like,
the law isn't great.
No, like, because the system is so broken that I get nervous when we involve the system, because I feel like, again, maybe it'll be fines, maybe it'll be civil. I think in this matter, it's probably civil and not criminal. But at the same time, the system is broken, and I don't want anyone to suffer beyond, like, get some help. You know what I mean? So that's when I get nervous about it. That's all. That's why I don't want anyone to do that.
I agree. And I think it's also, it's always difficult to see, any Black person or, Black women or men going into a court system.
Yes.
But what's interesting to me is I don't know that their wealth or class status will protect them. Should this go further?
No, it won't. It won't.
So that's also interesting to me. It's like, this is one of those things where you can't brush it under the rug because there's no, your Bentley won't protect you from this. And I don't know.
So that's why I'm just like, let's all settle this so that it doesn't get to a place where it's out of our control. Our meaning like the people, my control. I don't want this to get out of my control. Please. It's too uncomfortable. And
please don't make any of the Danielles have to watch a court scene. I can't take it.
I can't. When Apollo went away, I was so upset for that family. Even Joe and Teresa did. Like, I'm not saying people didn't do things wrong, but the way that the system hurts the you know what? Again, I'm not saying people didn't deserve it. I'm just saying I don't like how it destroys families. So I just get like, I get nervous.
That's the hardest part of this, is that whenever you see any kind of litigation happening on the Housewives, their kids are always so small.
I know. It makes me crazy.
Like, I just want Melania to tell me to get pizza because I'm an old troll. I don't want her to be like knowing the difference between like the word jurisprudence and, like, just let Melania be Melania. Like, I don't want, it's heartbreaking in a way too realistic sense that that their kids are being affected by this.
Yeah, it just gets too real, too fast. And those are just my thoughts. The party. Can we talk about the party? The Wendy's party. Does anyone have any thoughts?
Deanna's ready to go.
Anyone have any thoughts on the sip and see, which is a Southern tradition that I have gone to and seen, and I love a sip and I'm from the South. I love a sip and see.
I'll start.
Deanna, your face lit up.
Because when we were getting into, like, I was so bummed that Eddie's parents' mom didn't show up.
That was such a bummer.
Because, sure, it's heartbreaking for him, but the idea of getting into some pillar of the community, Nigerian drama. Like seeing the two, like I want to know who these fans, I want the EOMs in there. I want to see what's going on. I wanted a fashion off. I wanted the whole thing. So I was just super bummed that we didn't see those two women dealing with each other because it seemed like it would be wonderful.
I would watch that show in a second.
I mean, it's like that was a need, that we're not getting right now, which is a bummer. And I still hope we may get it. I want to see it. I wanted more party.
Yeah.
I wanted less Robyn being alone.
P.S. That's me at every party. Me walking into a party with no one there. I was like, I recognize this. I see you, Robyn. Robyn had never experienced it before, as we know. Robyn was like, wait, what?
No, it was new
She's
for her.
never been on time to a party.
I was going to say, she's never shown up to anything before anyone else.
It's a shock.
She's
It's a shock.
chronically late.
I had when Wendy said that the invitation said 6 and the party was like, you get there at 8. I don't know what you're doing here. Like it said 8. I texted my friend who I was in her wedding party. She's Haitian. We were in a giant bus getting to the church. Okay. I said, what time was your wedding and what time did we get there again? Can you refresh me on that? She goes, the invitation said 2 p.m. and we got there at 4. And literally my stomach dropped again. This was a couple years ago. I was the only person on that goddamn bus looking at my fucking clock. And I was like, people were like, let's stop and get drinks. Let's do this. Let's dance. It was the best time of my life. But I was like, we're getting to the church 2 hours late. Like I couldn't wrap my head. And when she just sent this, I texted her like, I'm doing a pod. You got to remind me. She just hit me with the like hands up emoji. Like, well,
I wish I could be more relaxed like that. Like my wedding invitation said like 5 o'clock and I think I got married at 5:02. Like I was like, get it
like
in, get
signing
it out.
paper.
I was like,
I know. It gives me so much anxiety because I am just chronically early.
me too.
Just chronically early. And it's for my own benefit because I don't ever want to get anywhere and feel like, oh my God, like when people missed all of like Karen and Giselle and all these people showed up late to Candiace's wedding last season. And I'm like,
anxiety.
You missed the whole thing. Like Robyn, like it makes me so nervous to feel like it's the only time I feel FOMO is when I'm like late to something.
I hate being like, and mine, again, childhood stuff where like I was always the last kid at the birthday party. Like everyone was like sitting down for dinner in the house. Like the birthday party had been over, things were cleaned, and I would just be like, I'll just wait outside for my parents. Like I was always, so it's stuff from my childhood where like I've literally like, I'd been away at camp for a month, like, and your parents pick you up from the airport. And I was like always waiting at baggage claim for like 45 minutes. Just like late. So like I'll sit in my car for 45 minutes and like have to act 5 minutes late. Like I'm never late. If I come in late, it's because I've been sitting in my fucking car. Just know that.
well, truth be told, all 3 of us were in this Zoom carried by Jesus early.
Yeah.
We were.
And I only came in 5 minutes early and you guys were there before me. That was upsetting.
Oh gosh. I mean, I also we can talk about the fashion of this Sip and See because the Sip and See fashions are always
pink,
my favorite.
Pink.
Unless you're Ashley. Wear pink unless you're Ashley.
Ashley had a purple and she was like, it's close to pink. It was like, Ashley, you have nothing pink in your closet? I mean, she did just have a baby. I will forgive her in the sense that I'm sure, like me, nothing fits for a whole fucking long time. Maybe never again. But I was just like, you can grab a pink tee somewhere. Like, come on.
Oh, the baby was so cute. I love
that baby is so cute. Oh my God.
Baby Cameron.
That baby is her family is
gorgeous,
delicious.
Gorgeous.
Are you guys with? I'm with Wendy.
I'm with
you
Wendy.
guys with Wendy?
I'm with Wendy.
All
yeah.
right.
Wendy.
Yeah,
I want to see
Wendy, all on Jesus.
Yes. Wendy is, I don't know where Wendy, she's hanging on a knee or something. Now, can we also talk about the fact that this is a question. I'm curious. Why is Candiace's mother invited everywhere? Like what?
Okay. That was a move that was so brilliant on Candiace because she knows she just pressed charges on a castmate.
Yes.
And to come in with your husband flanked by your husband and your dragon mom is just a power move. It's smart. No one can really go for your neck. You're protected.
That's true. That's smart. But I mean, Dorothy is such a camera slut anyway. Like, she loves any reason to be on
But is
camera.
she invited? Like, is Wendy inviting her? Is there I just wanted to know.
Yeah.
How
I don't think
did
she
we
was
get her
invited.
there? She just
I think
came.
that was a
I
full
agree.
Candiace move. And she was just
Interesting.
like, I'm just going to bring her and it's just going to have to be fine.
Again, can't imagine showing up with my mother to a party she wasn't invited to. Just like, unless it was like, look, my mom's in from out of town. I have nowhere else to put her. She can't stay home with the kid. Like, I can't, I would have to ask.
She can't stay home. She doesn't know how to work the stove.
Yeah, she
She's got to
doesn't-
come with me.
Yeah, she's like going to blow up the house.
That's it.
Like, I need to have like, and I would ask and I would apologize and it would be a thing, but
Well, Dorothy's
Yeah.
a thug. I agree with Deanna because Dorothy is a thug. And so I think that it just instantly puts at bay any chance that people would even dream about causing shit at this infancy.
Oh, yeah. I would not confront Candiace with her mom there.
no.
It wouldn't happen.
No.
I wouldn't take on her mom. It
No.
just would. And P.S. Dorothy looked really cute.
Yeah.
That was a
She's
great
a
one.
gorgeous woman. No one's disputing that.
No, I know we're not. I just wanted to say, like, I thought this was the best she ever looked.
Like, I say to mark this
Both
moment.
her and Candiace are beautiful, stunning women.
Candiace had so much. I'm not trying to, but like so much highlighter on her face.
She loves the
It
contour.
was wow.
How do you,
It was-
all the women have so much, like every single woman in every
No.
Real Housewives ever is contoured to the hilts. I don't even see it anymore.
I don't know, Danielle. There's some Candiace. I mean, it was like a lot of highlight.
She's a beauty
She had,
queen,
like-
though. She's a Miss America. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
she's always working that angle. So I think
But
that's
then I also feel like,
No.
is there ever a time to just like leave the pageant makeup at home?
No.
Because she really did have like highlighter like up to her ears. Like her ears
Yeah.
were shiny. Her neck was shiny. Her ears were shiny.
I'm
was a
amazed you
lot.
guys see it anymore. Like, I don't. It's like. I don't see it anymore. It's just a part of it.
Yeah.
It's part of the background of the show. Like, I don't. It doesn't.
I love it.
Yeah.
Speaking of, now this is kind of off topic, but what was going on with Ashley's mom's eye?
Great question.
What was happening? Did we ever get a?
Never
No.
have not
Because
gotten to
I
the
would
bottom
have
of it
taken
yet.
the night off the show. Just like, you
No.
know, I've had, you know, you get a pink eye, you get a sty, you get a droopy eye. Like, I would be like, I'm not, just to have it be you and Uncle Lump, you know,
Lump.
shooting. Don't.
Yes, loved Lump for president.
Love Lump. And I want to
Lump.
see him take on Michael in every way, shape, or
Yes,
form.
yes, I was like, please bring Lump and Michael. I need it.
That
so
better
bad.
be part of the finale. And
Ugh.
Lump has been on to him from the fucking
Beginning.
beginning. He has never let Michael get away with anything. And he has been telling
Oh.
Ashley who this man is from the jump. But I feel like, thank God he survived leukemia, so he can
Yes.
eventually have the strength to beat the shit out of Michael.
Fucking
Lump.
love Lump.
Wait a minute. Lump had leukemia?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, he looks
amazing.
great. He looks
He's doing
Okay.
great.
Yeah, Lump has recovered and needs to use his recovery to, like, I don't know, just take Michael out into like a gladiator pit.
Yes. Please.
And he's of course protective of Ashley, like it's like his little kid,
I
you know.
know.
He sees her as his kid,
And
So,
they
yeah,
have
I
a
think-
beautiful relationship. I love Lump and Ashley.
so sweet.
Yes,
Relationship.
much better. And her mother, I don't know. I still have flashbacks of Ashley's mom from the like we were supporting her days.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah, yeah.
always trust her. So whenever like I see her kind of on the scene,
Mm-hmm.
it always still feels a little grabby to me. It still feels like I'm being nice to you just in case I need you or I need money from you again. So I
I'm
don't
so,
know.
but again, this is all about my issues, but like anytime her mom comes back in, I'm like, she's here for us. Like, I'm like so forgiving of her. Like, and yes, there was some weird stuff with her boyfriend and stuff last season or 2 seasons ago. I can't remember, but I want to believe. I want to
do too.
believe. Again, I'm holding my heart back a little, but I want to believe she's here for me.
I love that this is just like all of our mother issues on display where I'm like, I don't trust my mom any further than I can throw her. So
I want to trust my mom. I do. I want it. She said she loved me. I want it.
I did appreciate that her mom had the patch and no makeup and a big,
come as you are.
Like she didn't dress for the event. No. And she wasn't on the call sheet. Well, it was a surprise.
Well, that's what I was wondering. I was like, did we know, like, cause again, if I were her and the cameras were on me, I would have been like, cut. Do you see this? I'm not coming on. Like, look at my
Show
eye.
me from behind.
Yes.
Just show me from behind. Put a little like chyron on the screen or something.
Or
like,
let's shoot outside and I'll have sunglasses on, something, anything. We can't do this. This is not okay. But that can't do this. Last thing I want to say about Potomac, unless anybody has anything else, is Chris trying to get Candiace to calm down, which never. When you say, as we've explored, and the worst thing you can say to someone when they are revved up is calm down, or words akin to that. And that is, you don't want to be that person saying calm down.
I think that is going to be a lifelong struggle for their marriage, because he's not great at ramping himself down enough. Mm-hmm. To get her to come down enough. Like even his calm downs are a little too heightened for me.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's hard for me to get there with him, and I can see his struggle and I can see his pain, but it's also kind of not, is that his job? Like, I don't know. I feel bad when I see them in that position because he kind of has to do this a lot. Yeah. Like, I feel like it's a fatigue with him.
I think the scenario that we were in, which was we're talking about the charges she just pressed on another castmate, and then she's going on another castmate's marriage and goading her and saying, I don't think it's going to last. That's not what we're walking back into a moment and nobody should have their ass beat, but also you got a mouth on you,
right?
And you are an instigator. Because I've never said that to anyone about their marriage, so you walk into hot water and then you wonder, why you get burned. So I do think I understood in that moment where he was like, here we go again. Like, let's not, you know.
That's
but I hear you though. I think that like
he's too angry. He's too upset about it to do that job, quote unquote. It needs to be someone that's like, hey, we're going there again, baby. Like, let's just
yeah, that was good. I was like, okay, I was like really calm.
Like I'm just like, but I've also been that person in a moment that wants someone I love to calm down, and I do get angry too. It's like, you're embarrassing me, because it's about them. It's not about calming that person down. It's about, you're embarrassing me in this moment. So it's
like, I think Chris is also thinking like 3 steps ahead, which he's probably pretty good at by now. Mm-hmm. Because he's seen this kind of explosiveness from her so much that I think in that moment he was probably like, the wheels were turning, and I think that kind of gave him that more of that heightened sense, because he was just like, I can't, now that there's the law involved, like I can't get to this point where this is our life. Like, we're going through this alone. I can't constantly calm you down to the point where we're not suing everyone we know.
Yeah. It's a lot. It's not, it's not his job. It's her job to be able to calm herself down. We are adults.
Are we calmed down right now? I can't tell.
We're still on Jesus's back.
I actually feel calmer on Jesus.
Yeah,
I do too.
That all.
Guys, this was such a lovely discussion. Anything else to say about Potomac? Or the housewives in general? I
want to know I'm just so excited to see how this particular season ends, because I haven't been reading the news about it. I haven't been like catching up real time. So I'm excited to see, but let's just, not watch OC and focus on.
And are you going to watch, are you excited for Salt Lake, Danielle?
I am not going on that journey.
You're not? Wow. Jesus just dropped you on the ground. He said, see us. I'm going to carry these 2 other ladies. He threw you off his back.
I might change my mind. But again, I feel like I'm always there at the beginning, but Salt Lake, instantly just seems so boring to me.
But did you see the preview?
No.
Okay.
Preview is good.
We got some
Preview
stuff. It's not what you think, because we were like, if they can't even drink, like, what the fuck are we doing here? Like, this seems like bullshit. But you need to watch the preview, because we got some backstories that are wild. Wild.
See, now I'm intrigued. I'm going to backtrack. I was not on that journey with you, but I'm going to watch
Jesus
the preview.
just picked you back up.
I want back on the Jesus.
You are.
There are going to be people tuning in and being like, why so much with the Jesus
I know. They're like,
truly unclear.
I don't know. I just felt his presence here today and I needed to be told, which is weird because, again, I am a full Jew and we don't usually feel him, but we felt him today. Danielle, you are a treasure and a delight. Danielle Henderson, please tell people where they can find you and also about your new podcast, please.
Yeah, you can pretty much only find me on Instagram right now, which is just my name, Danielle Henderson. And my new podcast is going to be called I Saw What You Did, and it's on the Exactly Right Network. My friend Millie and I are going to be talking about movies. We're going to give you a double feature, and it's based on themes that we choose. So we have themes like classic movie fuckboys. One of our themes is hysterical women who have every right to be hysterical.
I love this.
So
wow, that's fun.
We're just giving you some double features to get you through this time.
Thank you so much. You are a true delight. And Deanna, I think the new people know where to find you, but is there anything else you'd like to promote? And I want to promote your visionary and your videos that you've been making for people, because guys, Deanna, as I think many of you know, for our live show and for our recent show that we did online, she does these amazing sort of like videos for us and photo compilations, and they're fucking amazing and hilarious. She's also done stuff for my work, for my pitching. She has put together things because now everything's on Zoom. So we're really having to do like video stuff and pitches and work things. And she puts together an amazing presentation. She's done it for me. So I would love for you to tell people, where they can find you and if they need like a birthday thing or a work thing done.
Yeah, it's one of my great passions is putting together videos for people. Really and truly, I enjoy it. And I've just started up a company called themontagequeen.com. And I guess that's me, the Montage Queen.
You are.
So I guess you can find me there. I'm also Deanna Cheng, other places.
Otherwise known as.
Yeah. Otherwise known. Yeah, I'm the Montage Queen and sometimes Deanna M. Cheng. Am I M. Cheng? I don't know, guys. I've had fun tonight.
I did too. It's such a bright light.
Me too.
Thank you,
greatest.
Danielle.
And Danielle, you have the cutest puppy video on your website.
Oh.
I went and checked it out.
My dog.
She is really good at what she does, guys.
Wait, me?
Yes.
You went to the montage?
Yes.
Oh my God, it's literally just up there. I did make my puppy. That's something that happened during this quarantine. I got a puppy. Being a non-dog person my entire life, and now I'm obsessed. So
it's so good.
That if nothing else.
Go check out her puppy videos. But she's done, if you've liked her work on any of our live shows or even on this past show that you just saw, she's amazing. She's such a talent. And I want to thank Earwolf, and I want to thank Cody, and I want to thank our amazing editor, Caitlin, who's also another genius and so amazing. Everyone, I hope you're having a good day and a good week, and have a good night. We love you guys.